Hi everyone, my name is Scott Oliel, and today I'll be presenting to you Insight Engines. I'll begin with the table of contents. First, I'll discuss what is the emerging technology and then the causes for change. I'll review the benefits and causes of trouble. Then I'll discuss technologies impacted and the problems being solved by Insight Engines, in addition to the risks associated with implementation. Then I'll briefly review trends. And lastly, I'll provide recommendations on who would benefit from its use. Let's begin by discussing what is an insight engine. Gartner defines insight engines as systems that apply relevancy methods to discover, describe, organize, and analyze content and data. They enable pre-existing or newly synthesized information to be delivered proactively or interactively in context to digital workers, customers, and others at timely business moments. So, what is an insight engine? An insight engine is the combination of search capabilities and artificial intelligence. It delivers actionable insights from content from many different places. This content could be both external and internal. Some of the core characteristics include different data sources, data enrichment, result delivery, relevance tuning, security, and flexible query input. And some optional capabilities provided by different vendors include the ability to analyze the data, architecture, ease of use for administrators, support of multiple languages, and the ability to personalize the tool. I'll now dive into the key features, beginning with indexing of content. Content is indexed from numerous sources, from websites to on-premise knowledge management systems. Once indexed, this information is unified and becomes searchable from a single location. Security features are also added. Many solutions offer security features by also indexing the permission set of that content. This means that if content from one source has been limited to a certain profile or individual, these same limitations would also exist after being indexed. Providers offer query input flexibility. Through natural language processing, users can enter a query in various ways, normally similarly to how they speak. Their search experience is also facilitated through the addition of facets, sliders, and other mechanisms. Most insight engines offer support for data enrichment to tag and automatically categorize content. This enables information to be found more easily and for the system to create ways to surface content without the need for an administrator to manually label it. This saves time and human resources by leveraging AI automation. Next, we have evaluation and tuning of relevance. Results surface can be adjusted through various models. If administrators want to promote certain results, they have the flexibility to do so. Finally, insight engines deliver results at various touchpoints. These may be the result of a specific search, but also may be content recommendations that drive a cross-sell or an upsell. Insight engines have additional capabilities, but not all providers include these feature sets. Firstly, there's the ability to analyze results. Organizations can measure what their users are searching for, where they're struggling to find answers, and see what content or results being surfaced are the most effective. Some providers offer flexibility in their architecture and deployment models. Others offer simplified ease of use for administrators and subject matter experts. More mature insight engine providers allow for simple UIs for administrators. This minimizes the need for code. Some providers also support multiple languages. And lastly, others offer personalization features which allow for seamless integration into a company's branding. I'll now discuss the cause for change. We'll kick off answering what caused the emergence of insight engines using the 5 whys model. The problem is my customers have poor experiences on my website. Why? They can't find what they're looking for. Why can't they find it? Because results and products displayed are not relevant to them. Why aren't these results relevant? Because the search mechanism doesn't understand how they're asking questions and content being displayed is limited. Why does it not understand, and why is it limited? because the system is not built to understand real human language, and content is only coming from a limited number of sources. Why aren't these features available? Because natural language technologies are not being used, and content isn't being indexed from different sources. With the emergence of companies like Google, Amazon, and Netflix, customers have become accustomed to being provided with relevant search experiences. When they have a problem, need a recommendation, or are looking for a piece of content, they expect to receive accurate answers based on simple queries and interactions on a website. While some companies have developed these capabilities in-house, this requires significant time and investment in research and development in addition to top developer talent. For companies who lack large R&D budgets, they must create the experiences that their customers expect through other means. In order to compete and provide customers with what they need and expect, insight engines were created. I'll now discuss who will benefit from the technology and who will be threatened by its existence. Businesses who benefit the most are those with complex products, large amounts of content stored in various disparate systems, and those who have staff and customers who are trying to access this content but who are unable to do so effectively. While some companies have created in-house search recommendation methods, many have not been successful. Of those businesses who have built in-house, solutions implemented to date have mostly been manually promoted product SKUs or search results without artificial intelligence or automation. This has led to expensive maintenance of websites and community platforms, the need for additional headcount to manage and maintain these various systems, experience and knowledge lost when employees leave, high internal costs to build at scale, and non-high-tech businesses and traditionally software-averse ones being left behind. Insight engines solve these problems by providing organizations with the advanced capabilities needed to provide their customers with the information they need exactly when they need it. Because they use machine learning, results constantly improve over time and consistently deliver better outcomes than hiring humans to manually promote content. With the emergence of insight engines, there are two groups who are in trouble. Firstly, traditional R&D employees who are responsible for maintaining infrastructure. With insight engines, machine learning learns from actual user behavior and search results to understand what users were searching for, where they were struggling to find answers, and what ultimately led to a successful outcome. Since insight engines leverage AI to improve over time, maintenance and the need to strategize, promote, and maintain search results requires significantly less experienced staff. However, this does not mean that these individuals will be let go. Instead, resources could be allocated to better improve website and community portal capabilities and create growth at a lower cost. The other that stands to lose are the incumbents. Until recently, many brick-and-mortar stores had limited online presences. This enabled those who developed relevant experience platforms in the past to pull ahead and continuously eat the market share of the other stores. These established players were better at catering to the needs of their customers and providing them with what they wanted online. With insight engines, those who are losing their market foothold can now go head-to-head and level the playing field. This ultimately enables them to better compete with pure-play commerce shops and, as a result, take back lost market share. I'll now discuss the technologies that impact and are impacted by insight engines. Insight engines can connect with other sources of information. This includes websites and online communities, knowledge management systems, a CMS or a CRM, on-premise networks, chatbots, video hosting sites, and much more. An insight engine can then surface information from any of these sources it's connected to. What's more interesting is that they could also live within these technologies, whether it be a chatbot, CRM, or whatever. Some examples of this connectivity include an insight engine being added to a chatbot to surface information coming from a knowledge base, or it living on a website and surfacing videos from the company's YouTube page. The possibilities for connectivity are endless. The relationship between insight engines and other technologies is therefore synergistic, as both are made better through their relationship. Next, I'll review the problems that are solved by insight engines. Several problems can be solved with this technology. Problem 1 is users needing to search through multiple content sources to find an answer. This is fixed by indexing and connecting siloed content. All content that needs to be surfaced from across an organization is ingested and made searchable from one location. Problem 2 is the search engine not understanding what a user is looking for. This is fixed by using natural language technologies to understand users. A searcher can enter a query as though they were speaking, and with the help of machine learning, insight engines can understand that user's intent. Problem 3 is providing the wrong information to the wrong individual. If a user receives an irrelevant result, they don't complete their purchase and are likely to go elsewhere. This is solved by delivering information in context. Insight engines use data points that come from a user, like their purchase history, their location, and other demographics to ensure that surface recommendations are relevant to them. Additionally, through machine learning, these recommendations constantly improve over time. I'll now discuss risks faced in the product's development, funding, timing, and deployment, as well as risks to adoption. So what are the risks the technology faces in its implementation? Firstly, security is always a potential issue when indexing content from multiple sources. Next, connectors often need to be built, which requires significant R&D spend. The more content sources that need to be indexed, the pricier the implementation. The technology is also cost prohibitive, meaning that a customer must have significant budget to be able to purchase the software. Next, support from system integrators often must be purchased. This drives up the price, but it ensures a successful implementation. Timing could vary and depends on the extent of customizations in the implementation. Sometimes it could go live in a short amount of time, even a day or an hour, if only connecting to a single source. However, one must also consider that machine learning takes time to effectively kick in. This could take months. User adoption can also sometimes be difficult. Although the tool makes content searchable from single locations, users may still decide to go to their old methods of content searching, and change management is needed to successfully change these bad behaviors. I'll now discuss what were some similar trends and what happened to them. Similar trends include enterprise search engines and federated search. These were the predecessors to insight engines with a more specific use case. Enterprise search is a solution that allows users to retrieve content from several disparate sources. The focus is mostly on indexing. Next, we have search appliances. Here, the appliance runs inside or outside a company's network to crawl resources so that users can search. Examples of this are Google's Search Appliance. This was a physical box that could be installed manually by a technician at the site of a customer. Other similar trends include cloud computing, which is on-demand computing and storage, software as a service, which is a licensing model, Internet of Things, a trend in which physical objects are embedded with sensors, allowing them to feed and ingest data, and lastly, big data, which is the analysis of large data sets. I'll now discuss what happened to these trends. Firstly, enterprise search engines and federated search are the basis of insight engines' indexing capabilities, but have been built upon for much more of a greater offering. On-premise and server-based search solutions have begun to be retired, including GSA, which was Google's search appliance mentioned before. This is because the costs of maintaining these solutions were too expensive, as they required maintenance staff to visit customers on site, which was not scalable. Additionally, without the ability to update these via the cloud, customers often ran on multiple different instances of the solution, making maintenance and problem solving even more costly. Most of these other trends are ongoing and are mostly complementary to insight engines. Many of these trends have become integral elements of insight engines or work together to deliver customers more. Cloud computing is leveraged to store large amounts of customer data in an insight engine. That's basically how it learns. Internet of Things, this is where some content is indexed from, coming from actual physical appliances or devices to provide more contextual data. It knows what products a user owns and could provide them answers of what they've done wrong or when they need to buy more. And lastly, big data. This is where all the information that is stored is analyzed and learned from. You need big data to make the most of machine learning and artificial intelligence. Now that we've discussed what insight engines are and what they can do, let's discuss how they can be used by managers. Here, I've created an emerging technology canvas for insight engines based on the points discussed in the previous slides. Starting in the top left opportunity quadrant, we have the trigger, the need for personalized experiences. Next, we have the players. There's Coveo, Mindbreeze, IBM, Cinequa, LucidWorks, Microsoft, Google, Elastic, amongst many others. The driver is the need for content recommendations that are relevant to users when performing a search or visiting a website. Next, we have the impact quadrant. At the macro level, we have big data, cloud, IoT, artificial intelligence or machine learning, and all the index content which work together to power insight engines. Disruptees include certain jobs and companies who used to own digital experiences. At the micro level, we have some competitive advantages. Insight engines constantly improve over time. They make content findable from a single location, and they provide answers to business leaders that help them make better decisions. Next, we have the financial benefits. Here, this allows for more efficient agents and less money spent per case. There's online case deflection, where users can solve their own problems instead of calling a helpline. And lastly, improving sales through e-commerce. For supply chain, a company can see what their customers want and share that with suppliers to improve supply chain operations. For the technical merit quadrant, this technology helps propagate AI. It also leads to more advanced ML models that are being built. And it also allows for real-time analytics since data is connected and stored on the cloud. Tools that help the ecosystem include GitHub libraries and other forms of technical documentation, as well as some insight engine providers offering certifications. Points of friction include the need for content to be indexed in order to provide recommendations. Next, it's very costly. And lastly, the most important and big potential issue is data security. Now, let's look to the future. The tech is already in use at enterprise organizations and becoming more widely available. The long-term risks are the continued replacement of jobs and customers no longer making their own conscious decisions about what they want. In summary, insight engines are becoming more established solutions that are providing value to enterprise customers today. There is limited availability to small and medium businesses due to cost constraints, but this may eventually change. This technology could lead to improved online, e-commerce, and customer support experiences for end users and greatly improve how interactions online take place over the next decade. My recommendation on whether a company should take advantage of insight engines are based on the following criteria. It is important to look at the size of a specific company, their volumes of content, the complexity of their products, and the KPIs they're looking to solve. If you are a manager of a small organization with simple products and limited documentation, you stand to gain very little from the implementation of an insight engine. However, if you're the leader of an enterprise organization and have a complex basket of products with either a large support department, disparate information spread across numerous data repositories, or have e-commerce capabilities, insight engines can add significant value and can help your business succeed. If your company has support staff, you can increase their time to proficiency of new hires, reduce case resolution times, and increase the number of cases deflected by making the right answers more readily available to both agents and end customers. This allows your business to grow at scale with less support staff needed due to increased efficiency. For internal use cases, your employees can leverage insight engines to find information more easily. If you have thousands of employees, the time spent searching for answers can quickly add up. By enabling your employees with the ability to find the right files, past projects, HR documents, or technical files, they can spend more time on their actual work. Lastly, relevant recommendations are incredibly important if you're managing an e-commerce platform. If a website does not allow a prospective customer to find what they're looking for, they're likely to do business elsewhere. Additionally, if you manage a complex catalog, being able to help clients narrow down exactly what they're looking for can accelerate purchases and lead to increased customer returns. If you understand your user's intent, you can also recommend additional products and stand to generate more profit from each web visit. As a manager, you should ask yourself, do I understand my customers, and am I truly providing them with what they want and need? If the answer is no, insight engines may be the solution you need to deliver relevant experiences at scale. Thank you for listening. Here are the references that were used in this report.